next one is a recent oh, I did that wrong. Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with my September TBR. So in September, I don't have any readathons or anything like that. I do have a couple of vlog ideas, like themed vlogs planned, so you will be seeing some vlogs from me. But as far as like reading plans for the month, I'm going to start into my fall era, if you will, because it is like in my mind when September 1st hits, it's fall. I know it's not fall. I know it's technically summer for a couple more weeks, but like it's fall. So I am going to hopefully let my reading reflect that in a sense. I do have a lot of things that, like, I still wanted to read. I know I mentioned in one of my vlogs from August when I did the readathon that some things I wasn't able to read and I want to roll over. So there's definitely some things that I want to make time for. I want to capitalize on the fact that I'm still very much in a contemporary romance mood right now, and also kind of throw in some other stuff. I've got, like I said, a couple of ideas for vlogs that'll help me break up the contemporary as well. So we've got a few things planned. So this will be a hodgepodge list of hopefully things that will be kind of a fall feel, but also have that end of summer, still reading those books vibes. So with that being said, let's see how I did last month. So the first prompt for August was an A to Z book, so I did a random letter generator, got C, and picked Cloaked in Shadow by Ben Alderson. We then had a random color generator. I did a color generator online, got like this teal color, and went with The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. We then had a book with a dark cover, which I picked The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The next one was a foiled cover, and I picked The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. The next one was a book that you're scared of. I originally picked Earth for this one, but I DNF'd that, so I chose the one I did for that prompt instead, which was It's Lonely Here at the Center, or It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth by Zoe Thorogood, which is a graphic novel. Next one was a book under 300 pages. I did Stoneheart by Katie Robert. Next one was read a nonfiction, so we did Green River Running Red by Anne Rule. And finally, a random letter generator, so I did, or not a random letter, a random number generator, so I did like a random number generator for shelves, picked a random shelf, got this one, and chose Bombshell by Sarah McLean. So it's just going to be easier to tell you the things I did read than the things that I didn't read, because a lot of these I didn't read. So I did read A Crown of Gilded Bones, very excited about that. I did do It's Lonely Here at the Center of the Earth, which I kind of mentioned. I did Stoneheart by Katie Robert, and I did read my nonfiction, which was Green River Running Red. So only about half of the books that I had planned for this TBR got read, which is totally fine. Some things rolled over, some things didn't, but there's no fancy, like, we're not taking a benefit or anything for September, obviously. So let's dive into the very first pick. Pick number 1. Read a book you think you'll learn from. Didn't I just get this one? All right, the first one is a book you think you'll learn from, so I'm going to be choosing my nonfiction for the month, and that is Madly Deeply by Alan Rickman, or The Diaries of Alan Rickman. A foreword is by Emma Thompson, which is very exciting. This is exactly what it sounds like. I got this for Christmas for my husband, and it's quite literally just, I'm not doing a very good job of showing this to you, but it's literally just like random journal entries. It's a pretty thick book, but I do have the audiobook from my library. I don't know who's narrating it, but it is narrated, which I think is going to be the best option for me with how big this is. It should be pretty easy to get through because it's so short, and when it comes to like the sections, it is by year. So like, for example, this one starts with 1993. So I'm interested to see all of kind of what we're getting into. I don't really know. I think it's their version of a memoir for him now that he has passed, but we'll see what happens. I'm very excited to see what this is really about because I'm not quite sure. I just know that it's his life and he's sharing his thoughts a little bit with the world. So this is what I think I'll learn from, because nonfiction, I learn things from nonfiction. I'll probably learn way more about his life, and I don't know a whole lot about him beyond like Harry Potter, to be honest. So yay, exciting. Number 2. a recent purchase, aka from the last month. The next one is a recent purchase from last month. So I haven't done my haul yet, but you will see this one in my haul because I got my pre-order of Never a Hero by Vanessa Lynn, which is the second book in, I think it's called the Monsters series, but the first book was only a monster. Loved it. Got that from FairyLoot. I think I read it last year, if I remember correctly. This is the second one. I believe it's a trilogy, but I'm not sure on that one. I got my beautiful FairyLoot edition that matches, and this one is what I decided to go with. I have the audiobook ready to go. I don't really know what the second book is about. I haven't actually looked into it yet, but I loved the first one. This series follows our main character, Joan, who in the first book comes to London to spend time with, I believe it's her mom's side of the family, and during that time, she ends up working at this house, like it's a historic house that can have tours and stuff. So she works there, meets this guy named Nick, really starts to like him. Due to unseen circumstances, she finds out that she's actually from a long line of monsters, and Nick is a monster hunter, so that's not going to work. So she teams up with a guy named Aaron, who is from a rival monster family because some stuff went down at the beginning of the book, and they're trying to fix it. So the first book had a very good ending. I'm going to have to look up to remind myself all the details about what happened in the first book, but the first book ended in a good way. We did have an epilogue that kind of like left the possibility of more, which I'm excited to see where we're going to go in this one. But if you are interested in the story, but you're not sure you want to dive into an entire series, the first one's a good one because it does have like an ending point. But this is one that I picked up last month, and I'm very excited to dive in to this one, and we'll see what it's about. Number 3. Oh my. What on earth? Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Read a book with a number in the title. The next one is a read a book with a number in the title, which is perfect because I have an arc that I need to read, and that is 10 Things That Never Happened by Alexis Hall. So this is the author who wrote the Boyfriend Material series. I've got a few things of his on my TBR. He's a British writer that he writes a lot of stuff, but primarily male-male romances. This is another male-male romance, and it is set in the same world as the Boyfriend Material series. I know that's not what it's called. I think it's called London Calling, to be honest. But very rarely, like, there is a character, one of the main characters in this book is named Jonathan, and he is mentioned very briefly in the second book, Husband Material, which I just recently read. So that's good because I would not have made that connection otherwise. But this book follows our main two characters, Jonathan and Sam, and Jonathan is the owner, CEO, founder of this kind of like bed and bath store. Specifically, like I envision it like a Bed Bath and Beyond, but I think it's more like actually selling you physical showers and bathtubs and beds rather than like accessories for that. But he's in charge of this, and Sam is a manager at one of his locations. I think he's got 3 or 4. And it's not the best, and he's not been doing so hot. So Sam ends up kind of going to London to meet with Jonathan. They kind of have a fight, if you will, and there's an accident. Sam hits his head, and due to weird circumstances, he ends up accidentally admitting that he has amnesia and therefore forgetting stuff that went down. And so Jonathan is kind of taking care of Sam. He feels very, very guilty for Sam's accident, and so he ends up taking care of him for, I think it's about a month. And so it's a romance between the two of them. I'm very excited. This one comes out in October sometime. Give me a second, I'll tell you when it comes out. It comes out October 17th. So I would love to get this one done very early in the month because I'm really bad at reading arcs, but I have a few that I've stocked up here. I told myself I wasn't going to add any more arcs, and here we are. So I've got like 3 or 4 that I need to finish by the end of the year. So this is one that we're hoping to get to. I would love to get to it in September. There is a little time in the beginning of October if I need some wiggle room, but I would love to get this one, but Ted is in the title. So I am very excited to see what this one's all about. Number 4. Oh dear. Another recent purchase within the past year. The next one is another recent purchase, but this one is this year. So just a book that I purchased this year, which is perfect because this book is a recent purchase. I got it when I was in New York, and it's perfect because it's fall, but it also fits in, like, it's a perfect book for now because it fits in with that end of the summer contemporary romance vibe that I'm going for. And that is Hex Appeal, and this is by Kate Johnson. This is a romance, contemporary romance story with witches. So we follow our main character, Essie, who lives in this house with a bunch of other witches who have been there for thousands of years. And they get a new landlord named Josh. And I don't know if he knows that they're witches. I don't know if the witchiness is supposed to be hidden from him or what, but it's some stuff that goes down between the two of them. It says here at the very end, a family secret puts Josh firmly under her spell. So I'm sure something's going to happen there. But romance, witchy vibes, very excited. Got this one in July when we were in New York. So recent purchase. I'm very excited to see where we're going with this one, but witchy. All the witchy vibes. Number 5. Ooh, a TBR veteran. The next one is TBR Vet, which is a harder one for me to do. I actually do have a video that I made like 3 years ago, I think, called my TBR veterans, and I went to look at that, and either I have decided not to continue with those books or I've already read them. So that didn't end well. So I'm going to go with this one because it's been on my TBR for a couple of years. I don't really have like a veteran book. I kind of consider vets to be something that I've owned for over a year or two. So this one I got a couple of years ago. It's a thriller. It works with the kind of fall vibes. And that one is The One by John Mars. This one I've tried to read many times and it's just not happened. But I don't really know what we're getting into with this one. It could be too much, but it's a thriller. So we'll see. But it basically follows this world where there is a simple DNA test that, like a mouth swab, and it matches you with your perfect partner. And so it follows 5 people, I think, who have, 5 different people who receive a notification that they've been matched. Some of them, unfortunately, are already married. Some of them are not. One of them, I think, is a serial killer. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that's going down here. But just the idea of this matching service, I don't know why, but it sounds really interesting. So, I've had this one for a while. When did it come out? I think I got it soonish after it came out. It came out in 2017. So I want to say I got it in maybe 2019. So anyway, but we'll see. We'll see. It's been on my TBR for a while. I don't really know what to expect, but I'm excited nonetheless. Number 6. Oh, Goodreads. Okay. Okay, the next one is Goodreads TBR. So I have Goodreads pulled up on my computer over here. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it, but I'm going to do a random number generator and then whatever number comes up, which is why I'm doing it on my computer and not my phone, because it actually tells you like the number. So we're going to go through my TBR shelf and just whatever number correlates with the number we got, we're going to try that and see what happens. So let's see how many I have. I have 404 books on my Goodreads TBR. That's a lot. And 256. Okay, hopefully this will be nicer to me. 250. Oh, I went too far. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so the book that I randomly got chosen, kind of, is The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson, which is the second book in the HMRC series by this author, or HMRC trilogy, sorry. I read the first one in this series last year when it came out, and I fell head over heels in love with it. It's a witchy book that talks about trans rights, is the best way I could describe it. There's way, way more to it than that, but like that is the focus, I think, of the first book. And it ended on like this huge, huge cliffhanger, which about broke me. I'm not gonna lie. I remember reading this at my in-laws' house and just kind of like, when I was done, I was just shocked and I didn't know what to do. But I've been very, very eagerly awaiting the second one. It came out, I want to say in July or August. I want to say it was July. And I've been putting it off till the fall. It's now officially fall. I'm excited. It's a little chunkier than the first one, but I will have an audiobook because, and I don't really know what we're getting into. The first one basically followed these 4 women who were childhood friends, question mark, because like they kind of were friends, kind of weren't, but they grew up together and they learned about magic together. And now they've all kind of gone their separate ways. One of them is in charge of the HMRC, which is like the head coven. It's like the government of the witches. One of our girls is in charge of the HMRC, and it really gets kicked off when there's this like prophecy vision of sorts of this kid who's going to bring about like the end of the world is the best way I can describe it. And our HMRC president thinks that she knows who it is. And it follows these 4 women as they try to help this kid. So, help this kid in certain ways. So this is just the next one. I need to know. I need to know. So I'm so happy that this is on this list because I've been really wanting to get to this one. This is great. This is great. Number 7. Read a book with a light cover. The next one is a book with a light cover because this comes up a lot for some reason. And I'm going to go with one that I have out from my library because I was planning on reading it in August. I was going to switch some things around for my TBR and make this one work, but I just ran out of time, which is fine, but I'm in that mood, so I'm going to go ahead and read it, and that is The Charm Offensive, and this is by Alison Cochrane. I've actually read another book by Alison Cochrane. I can't remember what it's called. It says something about kiss in the title, but it was oh my gosh, it was a Christmas book that I read the entirety of Christmas Eve last year, and it was amazing. I loved it. This one, I can't remember if this one came out before or after that book. I really want to say it came out before, but I might be wrong. But it is a male-male romance. It has to do with like a Bachelor style TV show. So it is the guy who goes on the TV show who I think is like a giant nerd and is not like a fan of the TV show, and then the producer for this show. So do I know what we're getting into? Absolutely not, but I am very excited either way. So this is, I would consider this a light cover, so that's what I'm going to be going with for that one. And number 8. I'm having a hard time today. Oh, for goodness sakes. Okay. Read a mass market paperback. Okay, cool. And actually very similarly to the last one, the next one is a mass market paperback. This is also a book that I kind of had my eye on and pulled off my TBR, or pulled off my shelf as a plan to read in August, and then I just didn't get around to it. So we're going to make time for it in the beginning of September, and that is A Prince on a Paper by Alyssa Cole. This is the very last book in the Reluctant Royals series, and I will be done with this, and I'm very excited to see the finale of this. It is a contemporary romance. It's a royalty romance, obviously. This one, I think, is like Bad Boy Prince meets Good Girl. Fake dating, maybe? Yeah, so this one follows Naya and Joanne. He's from not an English-speaking country, so I am not going to be able to pronounce that. But he is kind of, has this ruse as the bad boy because his brother is the heir, and so he kind of takes all of the paparazzi onto himself, kind of gets all of the media attention to take it off of his brother, who's the heir. So it's him. And then Naya, who comes back from, I think, a wedding, and somehow they end up in bed together, and I think gets into the papers. So they end up having a fake engagement situation just to get the cameras off his brother and back onto the two of them, and also get them off his back. And so it's going to be their relationship. I'm excited. I've loved everything else in the series, and I'm excited to see what the finale is all about. They are all standalone books, but I've been holding out for, this is the only reason I haven't finished the series, so we're going to do it. Mass Market Paperback. There we go. And that is it. Like I mentioned, I've got a couple of vlog ideas, so I will be reading some other things. You should be seeing another recommendations video from me, or recommendations vlog. It's about time for the Q3, the third one of the year, where I read books that you guys recommend. So I've got some things for that one. I'm toying with doing another Simplify My Series episode, so we'll probably see that one coming your way, and then some arcs if I have time. But that is my set in stone TBR, so I hope that you guys enjoyed. As always, let me know what your thoughts are. If you've read any of the books that I mentioned, or if you have some fun, exciting plans for September, let me know all of your bookish thoughts. Are you participating in anything fun? I think I know of like maybe 1 or 2 readathons that are happening in September. I know, actually I lied, I think I know of 1. So if you're participating in anything, let me know all of your bookish thoughts down below. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe it down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all that out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!